Hello student, myself your teacher Pradeep sir. I'm teaching you the social study history chapter 1. What, where, how and when. Student, in our previous class we have understood that when we study history we learn about what happened, where it happened, how and when. Okay, student. So, Rihad's question, 100 years means how the people know about 100 years before that things had happened. So, we find from some different resources and from many things we came to know about where people live, how they lived, and what they did, that how they survived. Many things that we have learned, like in northeast Garo Hills, what they produce, and about the Ganga river, the um, um, here we northwest about the Kiratar and Suleiman mountain, how they cultivate and how they lived. We came to know from tracing the different periods and understanding about the early life, the cities, and the tributaries that people lived, the kingdom that had existed before, and why the people traveled, okay, from one place to another place, from mountain to mountain, and they lived in the history. And also we find about the names of the land. Okay, student, the we find that two of the words we often use for our country are India and Bharat. The word India comes from the Indus, called Sindhu in Sanskrit. Find Iran and Greece in your atlas. The Iranians and the Greeks who came through the northwest about 2500 years ago and were familiar with the Hindus, called it the Hindus or the Indus, and the land to the east of the river was called India. So the name Bharat was used for a group of people who lived in northwest and who are mentioned in the Rig Veda, the earliest composition in Sanskrit. So dated about 3500 years ago. Later it was used for the country. Okay, student. So ଆମେ ନେମ୍ସ ଅଫ୍ ଦ ଲ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ ମାନେ ଦେଶ ଜାଗା ଗୁଡ଼ାକର ନାଁ କେମିତି ୟୁଜ୍ କରାଗଲା। ଆମେ ଯେଉଁ ଦୁଇଟା ୱାର୍ଡ଼ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ ଆଉ ଭାରତର ଯେଉଁ ଫରକ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ, କାହିଁକି ଏ ଦୁଇ ପ୍ରକାର ନାଁ ଗୋଟେ ଦେଶ ପାଇଁ ଆମକୁ ଦିଆଯାଇଥିଲା। ଆଗରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଆମେ ଦ ୱାର୍ଡ଼ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆ କମ୍ସ ଫ୍ରମ୍ ଦ ଇନ୍ଦୁସ୍ କଲ୍ଡ ସିନ୍ଧୁ ଇନ୍ ସାଂସ୍କ୍ରିଟ୍। ଓକେ, ସାଂସ୍କ୍ରିଟ୍ ଯେଉଁ ସିନ୍ଧୁ ଅଛି ସେଠୁ ଇନ୍ଦୁସ୍ ଆସିଲା। ତ ଦ ଇରାନିଆନ୍ସ, the Greece people, they call it Indus, Hindus or Indus. Okay, so it is the land to the east of the river was called India. Okay, east रे जो land रही river जो Sindhu river east side, so it is called India. So the name Bharat was used for a group of people who lived in the northwest and who were mentioned in the Rig Veda. Okay, ऋग वेदार जो संस्कृत एर्लीस्ट कंपोजिशन रे भारत बोलिकी जो मेंशन करा जायछि एटा 3500 इयर्स एगो। तो परे एटा आम देश पाई मध्य व्यवहार करागला। सो नेम्स ऑफ द लैंड आम देश गुड़िकर जगह गुड़िकर ना मध्य आम विभिन्न रिसोर्स रु आम हिस्ट्री रे आम पाई पारु अछु। देन फाइंडिंग आउट अबाउट द पास्ट, आमे केमिति माने आम जो पास्ट अतीत जहाँ कि आम केमिति पाओ। देर आर सेवरल वेज ऑफ फाइंडिंग आउट अबाउट द पास्ट। वन इज द सर्च फॉर एंड रीड बुक्स दैट वर रिटन लॉन्ग एगो। दीज आर कॉल्ड मैन्युस्क्रिप्ट्स बिकॉज दे वर रिटन बाय हैंड। दिस कम्स फ्रॉम द लैटिन वर्ड मैनु meaning hand. Okay, these were usually written on palm leaf or on the specially prepared bark of a tree known as the barak, which grows in the Himalaya. Okay, student, ଆମେ କେମିତି ଆମେ ହିଷ୍ଟ୍ରିକୁ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଥାଉ, ଆମେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ପ୍ରକାର ରିସୋର୍ସରୁ ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ପଲ୍ ହେଲା ବହି ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଯେଉଁ ବହୁତ ବର୍ଷ ପୂର୍ବରୁ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ବା ଯେଉଁ ଲେଖା ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି ଯେଉଁଟାକି ଆମେ ବହୁତ ପୁରୁଣା ମ୍ୟାନୁସ୍କ୍ରିପ୍ଟ ଗୁଡ଼ାକ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଦେଖୁ ମ୍ୟାନୁସ୍କ୍ରିପ୍ଟ କାହିଁକି ଲେଖା ହେଇଗଲା, ସେଇଟା ହାତରେ ଲେଖାଯାଉଥିଲା ପାମ୍ ଲିଫ୍ରେ ଆହୁରି ଗଛର ଛାଲିରେ ଯେଉଁଟାକି ବେଡ଼ାକ୍ କୁହାଯାଏ, ଯେଉଁଟାକି ହିମାଳୟରେ ଗ୍ରୋ ହୁଏ। ସୋ ଏଇଟା ଲାଟିନ୍ ୱାର୍ଡ଼ ଯେଉଁ ମେନୁ ମିନ୍ସ ହ୍ୟାଣ୍ଡ। ଓକେ, ଯେଉଁ ହାତରେ ଲେଖାକୁ ମ୍ୟାନୁସ୍କ୍ରିପ୍ଟ ବୋଲି କୁହାଗଲା। or over the years many manuscripts written away by insect, some were destroyed, but many have survived, often preserved in temples and monasteries. These books dealt with all kind of subject, religious belief and practice, the lives of kings, medicine and science. Besides, there were epics, poems, plays. Many of these were written in Sanskrit. Other were in Prakrit, language used by ordinary people, and Tamil. We can also study inscriptions. These are writings on relatively hard surfaces such as stone or metal. Sometimes king got their order inscribed so that people could see, read and obey them. There are other kind of inscription as well, where men and women, including kings and queens, recorded what they did. For example, kings often kept record of victories in battle. Can you think of the advantage of writing on a hard surface and what could happen being the difficulties? There were many other things that were made and used in the past. Those who study these objects are called archaeologists. They study the remains of building made of stone and bricks, painting and sculpture. They also explore and excavate or dig under the surface of the earth to find tools, weapons, pots, pen, ornament and coin. Some of these objects may be made of stone, other of bone, baked clay or metal. Objects that are made of hard, imperishable substances usually survive for a long time. Archaeologists also look for bones of animals, birds and fish to find out what people ate in the past. Plant remains survive for more rarely. If seed of grain or piece of wood have been burned, they survive in a charred form. Do you think cloth is found frequently by archaeologists? Historians, that is, scholars who study the past, often use the word source to refer to the information found from manuscripts, inscription and archaeology. Once a source are found, learning about the past become an adventure. As we reconstruct it bit by bit, so historians and archaeologists are like detectives who use all these sources like clues to find out about our past. Okay, student. So here we understand about the how we find about past. About the one major important thing is manuscript. See, it is written in palm leaf. Okay, it but some of the manuscript written by insect and some destroyed, but some are survived. And some of the things, okay, like some books written in different languages, even in Sanskrit, and they kept in monasteries, temples. What are the things written? About the religious belief, practice, medicine, science, and epics, poem, plays. Many things are written in many languages, even by ordinary languages like Prakrit or Tamil. Okay, and other sources are that we say when the kings or the queens or the common people, they used to write in hard surface. That is called inscription. Okay, especially when the king is to get victory, then they used to write. They used to write their orders. They used to write some important thing, and the people used to read, and they used to uh, means find some notice. Okay, so also we can historians they find some of the means like clay or metals, baked clay or bone or stone or the something of hard object, so which is not imperishable, if which is not destroyable easily. See, here is a pot inscription. Even they used to find animals, birds, fish, and their bones, so that they can understand about the what people is to it. And the plants cannot survive the seed and grain. It used to be burnt, but it is to survive in a charred form. And historians they used to take different sources to understand the past about manuscript inscription. So they study about this. So we call them archaeologists. They are just like a detectives. They used to take these sources as a clue and find out about our past. So student, ବୁଝିଲ ଆମେ କେମିତି ଇତିହାସକୁ ଆମେ ଜାଣିପାରୁ, ଆମେ ଆମର ପାଷ୍ଟକୁ ଆମେ କିପରି ମାନେ ପାଇପାରୁ। ଆଉ ଯେଉଁ ଆର୍କିଓଲୋଜିଷ୍ଟ ମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି, ମାନେ ଯିଏକି ମ୍ୟାନୁସ୍କ୍ରିପ୍ଟକୁ ଇନସ୍କ୍ରିପ୍ସନକୁ ପଢ଼ନ୍ତି, ଧ୍ୟାନ ମାନେ ଡିଟେକ୍ଟ କରନ୍ତି, ଆଉ ସେ ଉପରେ ମାନେ ଗବେଷଣା କରନ୍ତି, ଆଉ ସେମାନେ ପାଷ୍ଟରେ କ'ଣ ହେଇଥିଲା, କେମିତି ଲୋକ ବଞ୍ଚୁଥିଲେ, କ'ଣ ଖାଉଥିଲେ, କ'ଣ ପିନ୍ଧୁଥିଲେ, କି ପ୍ରକାର ସେମାନଙ୍କର ଲାଇଫଷ୍ଟାଇଲ୍ ବିତେଇ ପାରୁଥିଲେ, ଆଉ ସେ ଲେଖା ଗୁଡ଼ାକରୁ ସେ ଇନସ୍କ୍ରିପ୍ସନ୍ ଗୁଡ଼ାକରୁ ସବୁ ସେମାନେ ଷ୍ଟଡ଼ି କରିକିରି ଆଉ ବୁଝିପାରୁଥିଲେ, ଆଉ ହିଷ୍ଟୋରିଆନ୍ ମାନେ ବୁଝିପାରନ୍ତି, ଆଉ ଆମେ ମଧ୍ୟ ସେଗୁଡ଼ାକୁ ଦେଖି ଷ୍ଟଡ଼ି କରିପାରିବା। वी कैन ऑल्सो फाइंड आवर past by manuscript, by inscription, or by the things we found with our archaeologists found, and how the names of the lands are changes years after years. Okay student, so we have learned today many things, and how the people where they lived, how they lived, this also, and what can we know about past we learned in our lesson 1, what, where, and when, how and when. So in our next period we will continue this lesson. So student, take care, bye.